What's up, YouTube? So I'm going to show you how to clean some throttle bodies. It's basically the same for old cars that are, well, I don't know about new cars. Basically, older cars that all have a throttle body that are still fuel injected. Obviously, a carbureted motor is not going to have this, but, well, it would, but it's a different system. Anyways, this is a pretty dirty throttle body off a 87 Toyota Corolla GTS AE86, whatever you want to call it. And it's pretty gunky, and the car runs good, but it's just always a safe procedure to be cleaning these. It can't hurt. It makes it look good. You know, in the back of your mind, it's not a problem that's going on. I'll be replacing these vacuum lines and just using basic cleaning materials to clean her up. This is like an engine degreaser. This is like some simple green I put mixed with water. It's not actually wheel cleaner. Some brake cleaner, and we're also going to try a little bit of the seafoam spray that you're meant to put in your intake, but it's technically the same thing. We might let that soak because we'll probably take out this the actual butterfly, the gold plate in there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, you can. So that's basically it. I'll start giving you updates as I go along and give you tips and tricks and hints. I'm probably not going to mess with this TPS sensor just because there's a screw up there, but someone had broken this one off before, so I'm going to need a new one of those. I'm just going to leave it alone for now until I get a new one. We'll go from there. Alright, so far, really, I basically just sprayed her down and took the little bristle brush thing and the little Scotch-Brite to this inner plate. I mean, you can see the difference, and that's maybe 30 seconds of scrubbing, and I haven't even cleaned the butterfly yet or anything. But another tip I wanted to point out is try and keep any kind of fluids out of your electrical components. Obviously, every throttle body is going to be different. Like this one has a dash pot sensor, which basically just has a stop. So when you go full throttle and you let go of the throttle instantly, I'm not exactly 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with your idle. Whenever you let off the throttle real fast, it doesn't kill the motor. It's basically just a vacuum. It's pretty simple. You can delete it if you want, but I'll just be replacing the vacuum lines and leave it on there. It's not hurting anything. So alright, so far I've cleaned this wall right here, and right now I'm letting the one side soak in some brake cleaner to hopefully break up that carbon. On the other side, I'll show you in a minute when we'll let that dissolve for a little bit. But basically, you only have to clean the inside if you only care about, you know, cleaning it up and getting it back together to run right. You know, I would suggest replacing some vacuum lines and maybe doing a little tune-up, because these older cars like this have their idle screw on the throttle body to adjust your idle, and sometimes that sticks and gets dirty, and you gotta take it off and clean it. It's just how it works. But here it actually is, right down in there. That's your idle screw on this car. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the outside just because I like my cars and stuff to look clean and look good. And when you pop the hood at a car show or something, people are like, wow, you know, how do you get one so clean? And really, you just took the time to clean it. A lot of people are lazy these days, and they think once they buy a car they can't clean it up. But anything can be cleaned. It's just all about how much time you want to put into it. So this is just letting it soak. You can see how much it's cleaned it up. Get the light in there. Look how dirty that engine cleaner degreaser fluid is. It's just, you can see little chunks in there moving around. That, you know, that's no good. So, and another thing is, there's a gasket on the back of this. Oh, that's dripping all over me. Oh, that's good. That's cleaning that vacuum line out. But I don't have this gasket, and AutoZone is closed, and I really doubt they'd have a throttle body gasket for 4AG without ordering it, just because it's a rare engine. It's not a, you know, small block Chevy or anything like that. Alright, so I've completely cleaned the inside, as you can see. I'll get some light in there for you. Completely cleaned all that junk in there. Look how clean that wall is. But another important step is to this edge on the gold butterfly. Make sure you get that clean, because that is one of the most prominent places to build gunk, and is one of the most important, because a lot of cars, I don't know if I'll be able to show you on video because it's so tiny. It's on this side. Yeah, but right there, see that tiny little hole down by the gold flap. That is a little hole that's ran off vacuum that lets the engine have just the amount of air it needs to hold an idle. If that hole was clogged or plugged or full of dirt, that's when you get the cars that can barely idle by themselves. And that's usually a good prominent problem that it's an easy fix, but a lot of people, they give up on it and they don't know, or usually this thing is so dirty that you can't even see that tiny little hole. So if you know about it though, usually you can get to that and clean it and your car runs a lot better. So good thing is to stick the little tip on the brake cleaner and just spray her in there and let it soak for a little bit, and brake cleaner evaporates, so it's not hurting anything. So now I'm going to start cleaning out the outside, and then that's mostly cosmetic. So far pretty much what works best, the clean, this is actually this Driver's Choice Cleaner Degreaser. It's pretty much just a really cheap engine degreaser, but it's actually working. I'm not going to waste the seafoam on it. That stuff's expensive. That was like a $16 can, and I'll save that for when I clean the intake. But this actually works the best. Simple green with water. For light stuff, it'd probably be good just to conserve this. And brake cleaner for all the tiny holes is obviously the best. Those little tiny holes, this doesn't get in there. You need that pressure behind it to blast out the dirt. Alright. So now we're going to clean the outside a little bit. I've taped off the electrical side of this TPS sensor because I don't want to ruin that. I don't know how much they are. I don't want to know how much they are. They're probably expensive and hard to find. So, and it's already in adjustment. Hopefully if I didn't mess this up, I can throw it back in. The car will run good and idle good, and we'll find that can all be adjusted. So I'm going to try and spray some of that on there. Got my little bristle brush. Start scrubbing away. I mean, this is tedious and time consuming, but I think it's worth it. I like doing stuff like this. If you have any kind of mechanical liking, you know, wrenching on stuff, and you'll love this. So I love doing this stuff personally. I don't care if you guys can send me your throttle body, I'll clean it for you. You know this stuff's working pretty good when it literally turns gray. That's a little bit, little dabby do ya. If you guys plan on cleaning anything on the outside, I suggest cleaning this flange for the front. This would be your front right here, because this is where that filter piece goes over it. And you know, if you haven't taken one off in a car in a while, it's a pain in the ass to get that thing off there because it's so dirty and corroded. These things to slip on and then you use your hose clamp to clamp her down, and no problem anymore, at least for another 28 years or so. I bet you this thing's never been cleaned in this car's lifetime. Alright, so we're slowly getting there. Been cleaning up here and there, and I suggest cleaning all these fittings for vacuum lines because then they're easier to slip the hoses on, especially when it's on the car. You know, there's always that one hose that's just a big pain in the ass. So like these two are on the bottom and they're underneath the intake, and I tell you what, they were a pain to get off, and I'm already regretting trying to put them back on. So I'll probably show you the finished product for now. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but I just thought I'd walk you through it. Finally got her all back together. Yeah, so basically it all went back together pretty good. Nothing really too difficult. Replaced a bunch of vacuum lines, and my friend Will gave me a free K&N filter, and it made that sweet ass induction sound, so I'm happy with it, and a lot cleaner throttle body, and we'll be moving forward from here. Thanks for watching, guys.